What if one single mistake, one split second, one wrong line, one aggressive push, could unravel everything you have spent years building? That is exactly what happened to Mikaela Shiffrin in R. The course was set. The crowd was ready. The world was watching. And the greatest ski racer of her generation made a mistake that sent shockwaves through the entire alpine skiing world. But here is the thing nobody is talking about. What happened after that mistake? That is the real story. And by the time this video is over, you are going to understand exactly why Mikaela Shiffrin is not just a champion on the slopes. She is a champion in every sense of the word. Stay with me, because this one is worth it. Welcome back. If you are new here, this channel is where we break down the biggest moments in sports. The victories, the heartbreaks, the comebacks, and the stories behind the stories that most people miss. And today's story? It has all of it. We are talking about the giant slalom, one of the most dramatic races of the entire World Cup season. A race that featured a shocking mistake from the most decorated skier on the circuit, a stunning podium that nobody fully predicted, and an Instagram message from Shiffrin herself that honestly stopped the internet cold. We are going to break all of it down. The race, the mistake, the comeback, the podium, and what this all means heading into the final stretch of the season. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about R. For those who do not follow alpine skiing closely, R is not just another stop on the World Cup circuit. It is one of the most iconic venues in the entire sport. Located in Sweden, the mountain has hosted some of the most memorable races in skiing history, including world championship events that drew global audiences. The course demands precision. It demands rhythm. It demands that every skier be completely dialed in from the very first gate to the very last. One moment of hesitation, one slightly wrong line, one extra aggressive push into a section, and the race can slip away from you before you even realize what happened. And this year, the women's giant slalom in R delivered exactly the kind of tension and drama that makes this sport so addictive to watch. The field was stacked. The conditions were challenging. The pressure was immense. And somewhere near the top of that start list stood Mikaela Shiffrin, the American icon who has dominated this sport like no one before her, preparing to go to battle one more time. Now, if you already know everything about Mikaela Shiffrin, bear with me for just a moment, because for anyone watching who is newer to the sport, a little context goes a long way. Mikaela Shiffrin is not just one of the best skiers alive today. She is statistically the greatest ski racer in World Cup history. Full stop. No debate. She holds the record for the most World Cup wins of any skier, male or female, in the history of the sport. She has Olympic gold medals. She has world championship titles. She has dominated in slalom, giant slalom, super G, downhill, and combined events, a versatility that is essentially unheard of at the elite level. But beyond the numbers, beyond the trophies and the record books, what makes Shiffrin truly special is her mental makeup. She is known for her intense focus, her relentless work ethic, and perhaps most importantly, her honesty. She does not hide behind PR-polished statements. She speaks from the heart. She admits her mistakes. She celebrates others genuinely. That combination of elite performance and genuine character is exactly why she has fans not just in skiing circles, but across the entire sports world. And it is exactly why what happened in R and what she said after hit so differently. So let's get into the race itself. Shiffrin stepped into the start gate for the first run carrying all the expectations that come with being the best in the world. The crowd was electric. The pressure was real, and she did exactly what she always does. She attacked the course. And that is where things went sideways. Midway through the first run, Shiffrin pushed too aggressively into one particular section of the course. It was a split-second decision, the kind of calculated risk that elite racers make dozens of times in a single run. Sometimes it pays off. Sometimes it does not. This time it did not. She lost her line, got caught late coming through a gate, and in a sport where hundredths of a second separate champions from the rest of the field, that moment of lost rhythm cost her significantly. She dropped down the standings, far from where she needed to be to compete for the podium. For most skiers in that situation, the second run becomes damage control. You ski conservatively. You protect your position. You live to fight another day. But most skiers are not Mikaela Shiffrin. When Shiffrin pushed out of the start gate for her second run, something was visibly different. She was locked in, completely focused. The rhythm that had abandoned her in the first run came roaring back. Cleaner lines, sharper turns, better flow from gate to gate. She was not skiing to survive. She was skiing to climb. And climb she did. By the time she crossed the finish line, Shiffrin had worked her way up through the field to finish 5th overall. 5th place. After that first run. After that mistake that had cost her so much time and dropped her so far down the leaderboard. Think about what that actually means. She essentially had to ski one of the best second runs of the entire field just to reach 5th. That is not damage control. That is a statement. And the skiing world noticed. But the moment that truly captured everyone's attention came after the race was over. Shiffrin took to Instagram and shared a message that was so authentically, perfectly her, that it immediately started circulating across sports media and fan communities everywhere. She did not make excuses. She did not spin the narrative. She looked straight at what happened, called herself out with humor and self-awareness, and somehow managed to turn the whole thing into something that felt genuinely inspiring. She described the race as equal parts frustrating and exciting, owning the mistake completely while also celebrating the fact that she pushed hard enough to make it happen in the first place. She expressed genuine gratitude for having the opportunity to fight back in that second run. And she did all of it with the kind of candid, unfiltered voice that her fans have come to love and trust completely. That message alone tells you everything you need to know about who Mikaela Shiffrin is as a competitor and as a person. Now let's talk about the podium, because this race was not just about Shiffrin. Far from it. Austria's Julia Scheib delivered what can only be described as the performance of her career. She skied with power, precision, and confidence to take the victory and, in doing so, clinched her first ever Giant Slalom World Cup globe. A historic achievement, career-defining moment, and a performance that genuinely deserved every ounce of the spotlight it received. New Zealand's Alice Robinson and American skier Paula Moltzen rounded out the podium with impressive runs of their own, both delivering the kind of skiing that reminded the world just how deep and talented the women's giant slalom field truly is. And here is where the story gets even better. Shiffrin, in the same Instagram post where she reflected on her own race, went out of her way to celebrate each of them. She congratulated Scheib on her historic globe. She praised Robinson and Moltzen for their performances. And she gave a special shout-out to Emma Eicher, who set a personal best in the giant slalom and became the only skier to finish in the top 4 across every discipline in recent memory, calling her a flat-out badass. In her own moment of disappointment, in her own difficult race, she chose to shine the light on others. That right there is not just sportsmanship. That is genuine character. So where does Shiffrin go from here? The season is not over. Not even close. With the slalom still on the schedule and the World Cup finals in half-gel fast approaching, Shiffrin has every opportunity to make her mark in the final stretch of what has already been an incredibly compelling season. The overall title race is still alive, still tight, and still very much within reach. She has been here before, facing pressure, facing setbacks, facing moments where everything could have unraveled, and she has come out the other side stronger every single time. 5th place in R after a first-run mistake is not the end of the story. If anything, it might just be the beginning of the most exciting final chapter of this season yet. One mistake, one comeback, one Instagram post that reminded the world exactly who Mikaela Shiffrin is. Not perfect, not untouchable, but relentless, honest, and absolutely impossible to count out. The question was never whether she could handle the pressure. The question is, who can keep up? If you made it this far, drop a comment below. Are you still backing Shiffrin for the overall title? Let's talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a moment of coverage like this. See you in the next one.